Today I've got an iPad 6 with a torn home button flex cable. Now the good news on this is that if these happen to tear basically anywhere from here over to this side, not a big problem. If you tear your home button over here, things get a lot trickier. So what typically happens is someone goes a little too far with their pry tool here and they either scrape this or they forget to unplug the home button and they just pull the screen out, and these things are very fragile. So again, not terrible news on this one because we have a section here where this cable is soldered to this, and I'll show you under the microscope here in just a second. And what we are going to do is we're going to take this donor or replacement home button flex cable and we're going to take it apart here. We're going to swap this piece over to the original, and then we should have a functioning not only home button but also touch ID as well. So let me get this under the scope and we'll get this thing started. Okay, now I'm going to flip this around. This is the orientation we had inside the tablet. I'm just going to go ahead and turn this over this direction. So we're kind of upside down at the moment. And you'll have a small piece of tape here that we need to remove. And I would recommend you figure out a way to fasten this down to the surface that you're working on. I'm just going to put some capped on tape on either side of where this is connected. But if you peel this back, you'll see, don't peel too much, you'll see that we have some solder joints right underneath there, and that's what joins the cables together. So all we have to do is very carefully come in here and heat this up and then kind of peel it back as we go. And I'm actually probably going to regret spinning it around this direction because I am right-handed, but I think we can manage. Let's see, or actually we can probably pull it up from this side. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to get this, it's actually pretty well secured just with the adhesive that's behind it. You want to make sure that's nice and steady. Let's get our soldering iron ready to go. And of course, if you haven't done one of these before, I'd recommend that you start with the donor part first, just to kind of get a feel for this. Let's add some flux here. Probably way more than we need. Now we're just going to heat one joint at a time. And there will be some adhesive under here, so you may feel a little more resistance from that, but just take your time. I'll zoom in a little closer on the next one so you can get a better view. You see I'm kind of working against that adhesive there, so just go easy. You don't need a huge tip on this. My adhesive just gave out. I need to tape this down, so I'm going to pause for a second. Alright, so I just added a bit of capped on there to keep that in place. Now we can continue. Just working across. Just go in here and go through that. Of course, still attached there. Right, and I think we should be free from the solder. I think we just got a little adhesive there. You could always add some alcohol. Oh, just be careful there. Might have got too aggressive. Not a bad idea to get some alcohol on this. Let's get a better medium to transfer it. All right. Yeah, we're just working under a bit of adhesive here, I believe. Should be separated well enough. I think we may be still stuck here. Go. All right. So you see, I almost lost this piece here. It's still on. But cable does have a bit of a tear right there, which is not a problem as long as it's on the far side and not close to us. The pad is still intact, so we'll zoom in a little closer on the next one so we don't make that mistake. This is going to go in the trash. Do keep track of which home button is your original, because we'll need that. And I'll tape this one down and give you a better example of how to remove this. Okay, so let's come in a little bit closer. And this time we will add a little alcohol just to make the adhesive easier to work with. But again, same concept. Just get this off first. Oh, look at that. That's neat. Pretty weak right here at the end. Fortunately, I don't care about this part, because that is also going in the trash. Right, so let's try pulling this from the right hand side, which is fun when you're right-handed. So can we do this? Alright, give it a shot. Actually, I need to tape this side down, or weight it down somehow. Throw a coin on there, or two. Again, not too worried about this top piece. Yeah, that's going to be sticky. Alright. Put a little rubbing alcohol here under this part. Hopefully. Yeah, I think I'm still going to have to go from the left-hand side, though. That doesn't really work for me. So, let's get under the cable. This way. Are we focused? And that one was nice and easy. Okay, so we've got all the solder joints released. All we need to do, again, I don't care about this top cable. It is not important. Just want to get it separated without damaging the one on the bottom. And there we almost go. Sticky. Okay. So now we can take this old home button and dispose of it. And we'll get our new one ready to go. I think we can just go straight on top of it as is. I'll straighten out the cable a bit. I'm not going to worry about new flux and solder because there's not a whole lot to work with here or worry about. Just need to make sure we can see that these little windows are lined up here and here. So you see this gold color underneath there? That's what we're looking for. Try to get that as straight as possible. Make sure this side is also lined up. Like so. But it needs to stay down. So. Now, if you have any doubts about these, you can go back and test them with your multimeter. And let's just see what these are, just for a future reference. In case anybody wants to know what the correct diode mode readings are. This is an iPad 6. This should be the same as the iPad 5 and the iPad Air, and probably several other models, though I couldn't tell you for sure which ones. But I'm going to use this for ground. Let's get back in the frame. Okay, so I'm going to use this for ground and see what we have going across here. I've got, this is going to be ground here, OL, 714, 751, 744, 714, 743, ground, ground, 635, 640, 662, ground, and ground. So we just have one OL right here, so that's got to be correct because this is definitely connected. And then the rest of the values were as I read. I'll clean this up and get it installed, and we should have a working home button.